Designing a pool workout for open water swimmers. So, what is the distance you're training for? Where are your athletes' abilities now? What kind of commitment are your athletes willing to give? How much time do you have to train them? And how much pool time will you have? Is it once a day or twice a day? How to prepare for an open water race. So, as a coach, there are certain things that you can do to gain access to knowledge that other coaches don't take time to know. For example, if you're going to be on a course in the ocean or a lake or a river, I would first go and talk and find out is there fishing that's taking place in that area? If there is, there's no better uh, bank of knowledge that is held by anybody other than a fisherman. They know when the fish bite, they know when the tides are high, they know when they're low, they know where the currents are, why they are happening. So they pretty much can tell you everything you want to know about that race course. Where, I could go up to a fisherman and we have, here's the course, where's the fastest water running, north to south or east to west? If I want to get from this point to this point, where in that line is going to be the fastest water because they'll know the currents and because they fish there. So you go find an experienced fisherman and ask them these kinds of questions. Find out what the course looks like. So ahead of time, there's going to be a drawing. Somebody's going to have a drawing. I would encourage you not to just show up and say, okay, you go from this buoy to that buoy to that buoy to that buoy. Go in advance and request a map of the course so you can have your athletes start to visualize it ahead of time. All right. Where are the turns? Now, why would you need to know where the turns are? You need to know where the turns are so the athletes are going to be able to visualize straight line. So on many of these courses, because it's a long race, 5,000 is a long way, 10,000 is a long way. And unless it's like a small circuit where they're doing 10 loops, which is very hard, mentally it's hard, because you don't you don't have lap counters. A lot of times the length of the course from one buoy to another is pretty far away. So as they round one turn buoy, they've got to have a visual. The buoys aren't big enough to be able to see, you know, right, like they're big right in front of your face. So you've got to have some visuals. You can see in this picture there is the building that is right behind them, next to the stands. And in some cases, that's exactly what you would be looking for if they were to come make a turn and head towards the direction of the start, which oftentimes where the finish is going to be. That would be a building that might be something that you could direct your eyes on and have some direction before you ever get close enough to be able to actually see the buoy. What is the competition? Is it going to be international? Um, if I'm Rick and I'm swimming for Saluki Swim Club, and I'm going to be competing against somebody in St. Louis, and his name is Bruce, and I know Bruce. I know how he swims. I know how good he is. I know if I'm better than he is, how many times I've beaten him, how many times he's beaten me. Now I'm gathering information about who my competition is. Bruce goes out really fast, but then he tends to not be able to finish as strong. Or Bruce goes out really slow, but man, he comes home. You know, those are things that you need to gather information you need to gather about your competition. I've got somebody from Hungary who's coming in, and we got somebody from Scotland who's coming in. And, you know, what are they like? Well, I go in and do some research on how good are those athletes and what can I expect. That way, there's no surprises. Anytime you can take away a surprise from any competition, taking away worries and surprises during a competition are not always the best thing you want to deal with. All right? Where will the feeding stations be? Feeding stations are going to be vitally important. Always something that you're going to want to talk to your athlete. Are we going to skip the first feed and then we're going to take the next two? Where are they located? How far are they before you come back around? These are all things that you need to have as part of the game plan, right? What are the expected conditions? So the event is going to take place at 8 a.m. There are never any waves at 8 a.m., right? But at 9 a.m., it's going to start to get really choppy and it's going to get choppy really quick. All right. So we know that in the first hour, it's going to be really, really calm. So you might sit there and go, okay, for my athlete, I want to get as much work as fast as we can get it done because when he gets hit by waves, it's going to be bad. Or you could say, hey, for my swimmer, I want him to set really nice, easy pace, keep up with the leaders, but he's really good in wavy water. So I want to conserve some of that energy. And where everybody else is fighting the water, and it's to my swimmer's advantage, he's going to have a lot of energy to be able to go through that choppy water and he's going to kill everybody. These are all things, again, you need to take into consideration. How many competitors are there going to be in the race? Is it going to be 10 or is it going to be 40? A huge difference, right? That pack is going to be different. If it's 10 and you're in the leading group, you may be swimming that race alone, all by yourself. So, how good is your athlete at swimming alone? If they're in the front, we've all seen people that have lost races because runners who have lost races because they keep looking back. Every time they look back, whoever's back there gets closer and closer and closer, right? Because they keep, and the front runner is always worried about them. Or do they thrive on it? The more that they're out in front, the better they feel, and the more confident they are. It's just to their advantage. So just know exactly how many competitors are going to be there. What are the expected currents? What time of day will the race be run? If it's in the morning, the sun's going to be coming up. So if it's chilly, it's going to be a sunny day, then you can tell your athletes, hey, it's going to be chilly at first, but you're going to warm up. Just kind of put their mind at ease. All kinds of things that you do with the information. All right. Where are the emergency stations located? It's important for you. If I'm going to another venue, another country, and we're going to be competing, I need to inform my athlete, hey, if you're in trouble, here's what you do. If you're in trouble, here's where you go. If you're in trouble, back home, we raise one hand, here you raise two. So they need to have that information so they also know that they're safe and they can put it behind and not have to worry about it. Do not rely on the host to keep your athletes safe. If it's not safe, don't swim. All right. We have gone to events for an open water swim, and it was not safe, and we have pulled out of the event because it was not safe. Now we traveled, we spent a lot of money for hotels, for plane tickets, for rental cars, buses, whatever we needed, and we spent a lot of money. And we pulled the athletes out because it wasn't safe. I don't care how much money you spent, it's not worth the life of your athlete. Do not rely on the hosts. I'm not suggesting that hosts are out to get everybody or that they're trying to hurt people. However, we all know that some events are run better than others. It's the way it's just the way things go. Make sure that you are keeping your athletes safe, and if it's not safe, don't swim. All right, simple as that.
Become a member of the International Swim Coaches Association and get access to the global library for ISCA members. And check out our open water swim events, which happen every September and May in Virginia.